What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to budget using Excel. Now, while there's a lot of different ways to budget, we got apps now, we got the old school pen and paper, there's planners and journals that put together on how you can budget. There's all kinds of ways to do this. But personally, I'm an Excel person. I love Excel. So I wanted to share how you can use Excel to your advantage. One of the reasons I like it is because I can do it on my computer, so it's a nice big screen for me to look at. But also I can download the Microsoft Excel app onto my phone, so I can also on the go update my budget. It's more hands-on. It requires me to actively view my finances, put in the transactions, see the money coming out, versus like an app, for example. No shame to those, but most of the time it's automated. Like it just takes whatever your bank account said, and there's no real consequence if you go over budget. You'll just see, I went over budget, and it's like, yeah, whatever. So it's more of a passive, and I prefer to be hands-on because I feel that's the way to learn. That's the way to be on it. Similar to learning a language, right? Yeah, they tell you to listen to it, but if you just have it playing in the background, that's not going to get you as far as it could if you were actively listening, actively being involved in the conversation. That's why I love Excel, and that's why I want to show you how to use it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Also, it's kind of funny because I spent time doing this setup, and this is the end of you seeing me in this video. So we're actually going to pan to my screen on the computer, and just going to voice over that. So let's dive in. Okay, so here we are on my Excel page, and as we see down here, I've been doing this for some time, so I got a lot of data. So I just copied one I already had and cleared it out to make the example. This is just cosmetics, okay? So just using the borders up here, you can just recreate these things. There's nothing mathematical happening in this, but I'll explain what I did. So first, I like to write what my bills are, okay? So home bills, that's things like your set payments that you have every month. So rent, your phone bill, internet. If you live in a house, that will be your mortgage, maybe a gas bill, an electric bill, etc. So I put the home bills here. And then I go into entertainment bills. So that's things like Spotify, Hulu, maybe you have a gym membership. So the thing I like about this is tailored to you and what you spend your money on. So it's going to take you some effort on thinking about what that is. I put gas and groceries in one, but this whole column, you can have this for every single bill if you like. I personally just like to condense it. Then I have a savings and investment category because that's an important thing to me. Living needs, so that's things like detergent, dish soap, so stuff, toilet paper, stuff I have to have that isn't a part of a bill, so it's going to fluctuate. And then we have the social events. So when you go out, hang out with friends, go to a concert, anything like that, that goes here. Self-care, self-explanatory. If you're taking yourself on a date, if you're buying yourself some skincare products, which that could be a living need as well. It's up to how you want to identify that. And then birthdays and holidays. Like if you're someone who likes to buy gifts for people every month, then I have a category for that. And the reason I like to do things like birthdays and social events is because if I know, okay, it's the month of May. Oh, this is the month of Mother's Day. I have a friend's birthday coming up. There's a Cinco de Mayo festival or some concert or whatever. I can go ahead and budget for that because I know these things are happening this month. So first thing you want to do is list out what your bills are in this row. And you can make this any color you want by simply highlighting it, going up here to this little bucket, and you can pick any color. So if you want, blue's making me feel better, you could change it to blue. I just pick gray because that matches my personality. So that's the first thing. Second category I made here is the estimated amount due. So again, some things are going to fluctuate. You might have an idea of exactly how much it's going to be, but sometimes you're just guessing based off of what the event is. So that's what I like to write here. So that's that category. And then I have the actual amount. You'll see later where this comes from, but let's go ahead and put that in. So a category for actual amount. And then this is going to be amount made. So this is the money that you generated in. That's going to go here in this category. and then the remaining balance is down here. This section right here is really nothing but to identify what this section is. That's what I'm going to go into now. So rollover is whatever you had in your account the month before. I personally like a zero-based budget, so I like every dollar of mine to go somewhere. So usually for me, this is a zero. But if you had some money left over, this is where we're going to put it. So let's start right here. And feel free to pause the video so you can design this portion. And then down here, I like to have a debt category. You don't have to put this for things like your mortgage or a car payment if you don't want, but I like to use this more so for money you owe someone else, credit card you need to pay off, things like that, something that is like an immediate debt that you're going to pay off. But like a mortgage bill, student loans, that's going to be a longer payoff, so you don't have to put this here. This is more so just debt that you carry over from month to month. So let's put that there. Let's slide over real quick and let's design this section. And again, pause the video, but the important thing here is that the categories up here match exactly what these are. So as you see, my first one is bills. So my first one this way needs to be bills. The second one is entertainment. So my next row needs to be entertainment. Again, this is all going to make sense when you're actually doing it. My third one is gas and groceries, etc. So however many categories you have going horizontal, you need to also have going vertically, except for debt. You don't need to put that over there in this category. So feel free to pause here, and I want you to just recreate this screen. And then if you're just watching just to see what the hell I'm talking about, then we can just keep going. Okay, so now that we have all of this together, this is where we're going to start. So any rollover money you had. So let's say last month I had $200 left. Okay, so I'll put that there. When I got paid my first check in May, it was, I don't know, let's say $2,000. I don't know how much y'all making out here, but let's say it's $2,000. Got paid again. Oops. Got paid again, another $2,000. Because maybe you work the same amount of hours or your salary, so your money's always the same. So boom, another $2,000. And if you want this to all look the same, all you have to do is kind of highlight this. Use this little number arrow here, because that'll increase a decimal or decrease a decimal so that they all look uniform. And then I like everything to be centered, so I'll use this here. A gift. Maybe it was your birthday. Maybe somebody just loves you. Maybe you got a sugar daddy. I don't know. But they send you money this month, so you can put that in there. Maybe somebody gifted you $50. So pretty much what I'm saying is this is all money you made. I added in refunds and credit statements here because maybe you bought something last month and then this month you returned it to the store. So that's going to put money back in your pocket. Maybe you have a credit card that gets you rewards points. So maybe maybe this month you have just redeemed your $100 worth of rewards that was stocked up. That's money back in your pocket. But for the most part, you probably aren't going to have this on a month-to-month basis. So this is it. This is the money you made all month. So I'm going to hit the equal sign here. We're going to write SUM for sum, parentheses, and then we're just going to take all of this. That way Excel will add it all up for you. So boom, this is how much money you made this month. Obviously, this is going to involve you going back into it because maybe you get paid bi-weekly or maybe you get paid weekly, so you won't know what your second, third, and fourth check is going to be. So this is why you're going to actively be involved. So every time you make money or you get money, you'll just come back here and you'll just add that over here. Like check number 3, because maybe sometimes you get paid 3 times a month. So check number 3, you could just add that right there. Maybe that was only $200. I mean, who knows? I don't know, so that's where we're getting the money from. I'll take that out because most people just get paid twice a month, right? So here we are. So we have our income made. Now, remaining balance, that's going to be how much you made minus the actual amount that you spent on things. So right here, I'm just going to put that. So that equals the money I made minus the money I spent. And we're going to minus that from the debt because money you owe people is not money you have. So let's enter that. Now, you notice this turned green, okay? We're going to take a moment. I'm going to show you how to formulate this. I like to do this because it helps me see that I'm in a good standing point. So if it's in green, that means my account's in the positive. If it's in red, that means my account is in the negative. Let's say I owed, I don't know if y'all heard that, it's a storm right now. But let's say I owed $5,000. So you notice now that turned red and it says $750. So that's $750 that I still owe someone. So that is what that is for. So now we're back to green. Now to do this, because I did this ahead of time, but I'm going to demonstrate on this cell how you do this. So you highlight the cell, right? You come over here to where it says conditional formatting. Click this arrow down and then you will press new rule. This screen is going to pop up. I go down to classic. This here, I change this to use a formula because I'm going to put a formula in. So I click that and then I write what my formula is. So what I want is I come off of this screen onto the cell I'm referring to and I click it. So F15. If F15 is greater than 0, because that's a positive number, I want that cell to turn green. So now I'm going to format with, and then I go to custom because I want the whole cell to turn green. So I pick that color. And again, you can have this whatever color you want. Whatever color represents positivity for you, you put that. Whatever color represents negativity, you can pick that. I like this because it's customizable, tailored to every person. So you hit OK. And boom. So let's say I put 10 in the cell. Now it turned green. Now in order to make it turn red, we're going to click on that same cell and we're going to do the same thing, except now we're going to make it for a number that's less than 0, which would be a negative number. So new rule, classic, use a formula, equals this cell less than 0. Custom, fill, because just in case, when you open this, it's on any of these, you're just going to click fill. And now I'm going to make that red. Okay. So now, if this was negative 10, it'll turn red. So that's how you design that. So you're going to do what I just did, except for in this cell. Okay, so I'm just going to clear that. Clear rules for selected cell. So now that's gone. But that's how you do that. All right, so we put our money in. We know how much we made. Now we're going to get over to the estimated values. So in this cell, I will just take what my estimation is. Rent, you usually know what it is. So I start with the equal sign. Maybe your rent is maybe your rent's $1,550. Okay, plus no one's talking to you. Plus your phone bill, maybe that's $85. Internet, maybe that's $50. Whatever your bills are, anything else you have, maybe $20 you spend on something. And then I just hit, so I had equals plus all those bills, and then I'll hit what that is. Entertainment, we're going to do the same thing. So that's going to equal maybe Spotify's $9.99. I don't know how much that is anymore. Maybe Hulu's $7.99 because you don't pay for ads. Maybe you do Netflix as well. Maybe that's $12.99. Whatever. So all that's going to go there. Boom. Gas and groceries. You live alone. Maybe you spend $50 a week. So that's going to be $200. Maybe your gas. You don't travel too much. You don't do too much. Maybe you only spend $100 on gas a month. Okay. Savings and investment. I'm going to leave that blank for now and I'll show you why. Living needs. How often do you really need to buy detergent and things like that? Probably not that often. So this is probably going to, why do you keep, so this is probably going to roll over, but we'll still put a number in there, $50. Social, maybe you got a lot going on this month that you already know it's going to cost you $300. Self-care, maybe you only want to spend $100 on yourself. So you get what I'm saying. Maybe you want to take your mom on a very luxurious birthday dinner that's going to cost you $150. So you're going to put that number in. Now, down here we're going to equals, because we're going to sum up this category as well. So add all that up. Like I mentioned, I like to do a zero-based budget. So you see, I'm estimating I'm only going to spend $2,600 this month, but I made $4,250. So that's a lot of money that's still left on the table. So I could, increase, like, okay, well, since I got so much money, maybe I want to treat myself to something more. Let's increase this amount. Maybe you just want to save it all. So you kind of want to play around with these numbers so that this number theoretically equals this number. Okay. And then for debt, let's just, for easy sake, let's say you just don't have any. So we're going to make that 0. Now, there's a rule that personally I like to follow when it comes to how I like to spend my money. So for expenses, I prefer that to be no more than 50% of my income, 50 to 60. So this is the income I made. I'm just going to hit equals this cell times 0.5 for 50%, or you can do 0.6 for 60%. So let's just say that I think most people are more in the 60 to 70 range when it comes to their expenses. So that's telling me that my expenses should be no more than this amount. Same thing with savings. I like to save 20% of my income at least. So same thing, equals this number times 0.2 for 20%. And then leisure. So that's like things for myself, or like I put here, giving back to my community, whatever. We're going to make that the other 30%. So those numbers should equal 100. So we had 60 here, we had 20 here, so that's 80. So that means this is going to have to be 20% then. Times 0.2 as well. Well, no, 0.2. Okay. So it's kind of telling you what your categories should equal. All right, so hope you still follow me along here. Now, the last thing we're going to do, I know this is a lot of work up front, but once you do it, I promise it's like seamless. So once you get this set up, everything after that is so much easier. So down here, we're just going to do a summation really quick. So we're going to sum everything in the bills category. We're going to sum everything in this category. I think there's an easier way to do this. Like you could probably just drag this formula across the bottom without having to like do it all, but I'm just going to hand do it so you can see it. Okay, so just summing up all this goodness. Boom, boom, boom. It's funny because throughout this video, I found myself a couple times like pointed at my screen to demonstrate something, and then I realized this is a screen record. No one's going to see your finger. So I had to remember to move my mouse over there to convey my point. Almost done. All the social stuff. Boom, boom. Self-care stuff. Boom, boom. And see, about 16 minutes to this video. Wasn't trying to make it too long, so I'll wrap up here shortly. But okay, so all this is summed up. Now the reason for this is as you start to pay for stuff, now you're just going to write it in here. So boom, your rent got due. You pay that $1,500. So you see it's some. Oh, but then what do we say? Oh, your $85 bill came out. We know that came out. Next we had how much your internet was. You put $50, but for some reason they had a special, so you actually ended up only paying $35.60 for it. Whatever. So I'm just gonna put in some random numbers here. Groceries, maybe you got some gas, then you did this, all these transactions you're doing. So you're seeing that at the bottom here, it's just summing up everything you spent. Maybe you got paid, you did 20%, so maybe that was like $200 that you saved the first time, then you end up saving $50, then you end up saving $175, whatever. You bought you some detergent and stuff from the store that cost you $25. You did that social event 3 times. First event was $90, the next one was $10, etc. So you see where I'm going here. We're just putting in numbers. This is just for example. And then I put this as miscellaneous, but you could change that to birthday or whatever you want it to be. But took your mom out to that great dinner, it ended up costing you $175 because you forgot you had a tip or whatever. So here we are. So we have all these sums down here. So basically every time you go out in the world and you make a transaction, you're just going to write it in here in its respective category. The magic happens over here though. So we're going to equals this cell because this was bills and this is bills. So this is how much you thought you were going to spend. That was the estimated amount, but this is the amount you actually spent. So you see why I have two categories for that. Same thing, entertainment. So equals entertainment. Oh, wow. You said 30, but you end up spending 57. So that's just, that's how that's going to work. So we're going to do that really quick for all of these cells. Boom. Oh, pause on the video. I left this blank because I was going off of this. So if you want to save 20% of your income, that's going to have to be $850. So I'll just write that in there. So that still brings that less than even close to what you're spending over here. So that gives you more money to do other things in your life, which is completely fine. Okay, living needs. Let's sum that up over here. Social events. Boom. Self-care. Boom. Equals. Boom. And then same thing, we're going to equals sum all of this as well. Okay, and then so you see this number change now because of that formula we already had in there. So this number is showing you how much money you're going to have left. So you don't have to do the math and try to figure out, well, how much money do I have left? It's going to tell you right here, $876. So maybe you decide, nah, I can save some more money. I got big dreams coming up. Or maybe you decide, oh, that social event I thought I couldn't do because I couldn't afford to actually have a little extra money for it. So let me go ahead and throw that in there, whatever. So you can kind of increase your categories if you want this number to be exactly what this number is, if you get my drift. So that is how we work this pretty much. This is it. As you begin to spend more money and put more things in here, so like I just mentioned, that social event that you thought you couldn't afford, but you found out you had a lot more money, so you went in and spent another $100. Now that number is going down. So this is giving you exactly how much money you have left without you having to guess. The last thing I personally like to do is, so over here I have the amounts I'm not trying to exceed. So how I do that is, I'll come over here. Excuse me. I'll come over here and then I'll hit enter. Oh, scratch that. I'll come over here and I'll go ahead and hit equals. So this number is going to be the amount that I want to keep it at. So no more than this, minus everything I've spent already. So you'll have to go through and take what you consider to be expenses. I consider bills to be expenses, so I'll click that. Minus, I consider gas and groceries to be an expense, so I'll include that in the category. Minus savings, that's its own thing, but living needs, that's definitely an expense, so minus that. Social events does not count as an expense. Self-care, to me, does not count as an expense, but if that counts for you, definitely include it. And then birthdays and holidays does not count as an expense, so that would end that. So I'll hit enter. What this does is this tells me how much money I have left to spend on expenses, because the amount that I said is 60% of my income is $2,500, but I've still have $700 left in that category. So maybe this is a good way for you to see, oh, if I want to upgrade to a nicer apartment, I have $700 left to do this. Or if I want to start saving this money because I'm living below my means and put this towards saving for some trip, saving for a new house, saving for whatever, I have this much money left a month to do said thing. So that's what this is for. Same with the savings. So that's just going to be the amount that we're shooting for minus the one goal, the one category, which is just savings. So again, you're telling yourself you want to save $850 a month, but you see here you've only saved $425. So that could be a time for you to say, oh, I need to save more because I'm still haven't saved $425. So once you transfer that from your checking account to your savings, you put it in your expense category, you hit enter, and look, boom. Now you don't have any money left to go into savings, which is great. You want these numbers to equal zero. You don't want them to be negative. Positive is okay. And then leisure. You don't want to spend any more than $850 on leisure activity. So you'll take that minus, so entertainment, I find that to be a leisure. Social events is a leisure. Self-care stuff is a leisure. And then spending money on birthdays and holidays and stuff, another leisure. See, we're in the negative here. So that means we overspent in our leisure budget. But that's okay because we still had so much money left in expenses. So maybe that's where that money came from. So as you see, we're still in the positive. So I hope this makes sense on how we can use this. So if you don't like that you spent so much money in leisure, then maybe that means a couple of these leisure activities. I didn't realize I put $645 here, but maybe that means some of these leisure activities you just didn't do, or you wouldn't do, in order to put more money back in other categories. And then, like I said, if you do have money left over in these categories, you can choose what you want to do with that. Maybe you can roll it over, because maybe there's going to be an event next month that is going to cost a lot more now than it would have in the month that you're working on. So you could use that to go into the next month. So that is how I do my budgeting. And as you see, I name all the months differently. So the beauty for this is, let's say I open a new tab for the next month. So I'll rename this, and we'll just say, I'm going to call it example 2, but maybe you're calling it June, because June is the next month coming up. And then all you have to do is click this. That's going to highlight all of these cells. I hit Control so I can copy them. Click in that cell, and then I hit enter, and boom, it pops all that up. And then all you have to do is go in here, highlight this cell, right click, and clear it. So all that was back to 0, all this is back to 0. It sets you back to 0. And then you can clear this because maybe you don't know how much money you made. So same thing, clear it. So boom, we're back to 0. You had no money left over last month. Maybe you did. Same thing, like, oh, I got paid $3,000 this month. Now I can put this in, and then you can start using it. So it's simple. Once you set it up, you just copy and paste it, and then you keep doing it. So hope you like my little chart here. I love it, and I wish you the best on using it. Okay, I'm back. Hope that made sense. I hope it was clear. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you find that to be something that maybe you want to use in your future, or at least try out for a few months to see if it's better than what you have done before, if anything at all. If you like this video, you know what to do. Go ahead and give me that thumbs up. Check out my other finance videos that I've done so far on this channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. As always, don't forget to crush it.